With every shot and every stride, Jacob Chapman, or Chap, as his teammates call him, is beating the odds.
Been a long journey, but I mean, I've come a long way.
Just 4 months ago, it was almost impossible to picture Jake back in uniform. On September 22nd, he was knocked unconscious during a football game, taken off the field in a stretcher to Helen DeVos with a severe concussion. 5 days later, he was at home eating dinner.
Oh, I heard them talking to Chad, and he was out there. The next thing I heard is Chad yelling, "Jake," in a voice I'd never heard before.
And he didn't respond at all. So I knew something was obviously wrong.
The first thought was a concussion-related seizure, which caused Jake to start choking.
So I ran around him and tried to do the Heimlich, and by that time he was totally limp. That's when she came out and right away called 911.
Jake wasn't breathing, and he didn't have a pulse.
I just remember looking down at him. He had blue lips, blue eyes. His eyes were a little bit open still, but not responding, just almost like he was looking through me.
Without hesitation, Chad started CPR until first responders arrived and took over.
But they hooked up the AED to him, the 2 shocks to bring him back. And I remember them saying, "We've got a pulse." And it was just like a life just breathed back into me.
Jake had suffered from a completely random cardiac arrest. He was put on a ventilator and in a medically induced coma for a week.
So I just remember waking up in the hospital, and man, I couldn't really breathe because I had that ventilator. My throat was like so dry, and it felt like my mouth was just like sandpaper.
To say he's come a long way would be an understatement.
I was just telling myself, I mean, keep fighting, you know, there's light on the end of the tunnel. I mean, everything happens for a reason. I believe God did this for a reason, and he's going to use my story to inspire other people.
It's that faith that's gotten this family through.
Almost from the exact moment people were praying for Jake.
And we really felt those prayers.
It's also what keeps Jake going.
Are you ever nervous?
I'm not nervous. I mean, I get asked that a lot, like what will happen, but I'm not nervous. I trust that God will watch over me.
In life, just like in a game, a single play can make all the difference.
I'll never forget this afterwards. A good friend of mine told me it was a play in my life, play in my career. You know, it really was.
Without him, I don't know where I would be.